morning, and happy day to you. Welcome to the Fit of Freedom Project. I have an amazing special guest here. I had to just take us out of the studio because we have been back there starting the entire episode of the podcast. And I am also live for the first time. So, woo woo, shout out to Dr. Deb. Thank you, Miss Althea, for showing me how to go live. I really appreciate that.
But I don't think you had to come out of the studio though. I think you could have just left it and then did what you did.
Oh, yeah.
Just for
That's just
future.
my thing. I do that even when I do recordings. But anyway, I am glad you're here. We have Miss Althea Grace today, who is also known as the Soul Whisperer. And I want to read your bio so that we can let everyone know what I have learned about you.
Ooh.
And first of all, Miss Althea, I didn't even know you. I've just been watching on YouTube's and what you were saying in one of your podcasts or episodes, it just struck a chord with my heart. So I was like, oh, I want her to come to my podcast. Yes. So I'm glad that you're here today.
Thank you so much. I was so honored to be asked, and I was so excited when I saw your email, and I was like, yes, and then checked your channel and everything like that. It's like, oh, a girl after my own heart, of course.
Oh, yes, good. I'm glad. I'm so glad. Okay, well, I'm going to read your bio to everyone. Meet the soul whisperer, Althea Grace. Althea is a lifelong spiritual sojourner who has traversed numerous spiritual roads and meditation paths, gathering profound wisdom along the way. As a spiritual life coach, priestess of divine love consciousness, shaman, energy practitioner, writer, prayer practitioner, she embodies the essence of spiritual transformation. Her intuitive gifts as a psychic, medium, and tarot and oracle card reader enable her to connect deeply with the unseen, offering guidance and clarity to those seeking spiritual insight. On her YouTube channel called The Soul Whisperer, guys, check out her YouTube channel. Althea shares tarot readings and spiritual conversations that resonate with seekers around the world. Today, she is here with us at the Theater Freedom Project, and she's going to tell us all about her spiritual journey. And also, she's going to leave us with some great wisdom.
Oh, so
Thank
wonderful.
you.
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much,
Yes,
Dr.
yes.
Deb.
You
Thank
are so welcome.
you.
I'm so glad I can talk to you. We were talking back in the studio, and I'm like, let me push this thing because we have great conversation. I can
Me
feel
too.
all of your heart and your energy, and you just have so much love and wisdom. And I'm just so glad that we connected.
Well, I feel the same way. I feel all your bubbly, effervescent, just desire and wanting to get on here and do the damn thing, if you don't mind my saying it like that. And it comes through so well. Your heart is so big and beautiful. I feel it. I see it. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, this is what we need. We need more of this, and we need to find each other.
We do. And because you are an energy practitioner, you are into like even oracle cards. I'm just gonna be honest. I would have never even pulled an oracle card, Miss Althea, but I pull cards for myself now, and I get so much. I'm telling you, listen to me. When I started pulling those cards, I was over in Panama and I was actually trying to trick the cards, okay? Because I mean, that's your personality. I know now that's just your ego. And that's not
Yeah,
me trusting myself, not
yeah.
even knowing what I'm doing, but even saying like how can I get wisdom, there was a doubt there. So that's the reason why I was probably tricking the cards, but you cannot trick the spirit. This is the funny thing about it. Yeah, you
I
can't.
know. I think I remember you say that, and it sounds odd, but I remember back to the day when I was like, ask a question. This is back way back. Ask a question. Ask it again. Ask it again. And it's like, come on now. Are you tired? Child, are you tired?
Exactly. Well, listen, you know what? I was watching you were on a podcast with someone, you had a guest on your show, and I'm telling you, there was one question that I drew from what you said. One question that would probably just take up this entire episode. I have a list of questions, but I was like, I can ask this one question and really shut this entire episode down. I want
Uh-oh.
yeah, yeah,
This is
because
a deep question.
this is a really good question. This is an amazing question. What you said is that everyone has to learn the lesson of being God on this planet. Oh, just well, we could just drop the mic with that one because I really, yeah, yeah. How do
I don't
we?
think I must have said it as eloquently as you just did and
No, you
surmised it.
did.
I'm like, I said
You
that?
said that everyone has to learn the lesson of being God on this planet, and that speaks volumes to me because of my spiritual awakening and not
Mm.
knowing that I was God.
Yes,
That I am God, that I am a
yes,
practitioner.
we are. We all are. I mean,
What do you
I
mean by
think,
that? Tell us something.
well, God is all, right? We all know that God is everything. God is not a man in the sky. Like most of us were taught, if you grew up in religion, and let's say in the Western world, I mean, it's probably that way in other major religions, but you grew up knowing there was a God, a big daddy in the sky, who was, counting everything you did, kind of like Santa
That's
Claus.
true.
He knows
Yeah.
when you've been sleeping, he knows when you've been bad or
Yes.
good, and that this one, if you didn't behave yourself, you were going to go to hell instead of heaven. Now, that's most of the thing that came through for me as growing up in a Christian home.
Mhm.
But there were some differences there with that. And then growing up to learn that God isn't a man, isn't a being, that we have made
Right.
God in our own image. We think because we're made in the image and likeness of God, that means that we're people, so God is a people. God is
Yes.
consciousness.
Consciousness.
That is what God is, and everything that is made, good, bad, or yay, God doesn't judge it so. God just is, and God creates. So what we call good, bad, or nothing is part of God, is God
Yes.
expressing itself on this life. Is that crystal on your behind you,
Yes.
as is Dr. Deb, as Miss Althea, as you call me, as my kitty cat who's somewhere trying to get in. You
Mhm.
know, everything is. And it's an understanding that one of the most brilliant quotes that I ever heard on my journey was a
Mhm.
quote by Eric Butterworth, who was a
I know
unity
Eric Butler.
minister.
Yeah.
And the best thing I ever heard was his quote that said, to understand this concept, God is in you like the ocean is in a wave. All
Mhm.
of the ocean that comes out in that moment as a wave is the all of God in that
Mhm.
moment. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're like God for your ego. Oh, I'm God. And
Yes.
therefore I am the, shiznit, you know.
Yes. Yes.
No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you have to understand the totality of what that means. And it isn't about, and so we're so well trained and we're so well
Yes.
indoctrinated that we think, oh my God, to even think or say such a thing. I didn't know you were going to say that, because I still don't really say that directly like that.
Mm.
But I was
Say
like,
what?
well, that what you said, that we're just all God and everything. I mean, I
I am
say it.
God.
Yes,
If
yes.
I look in the mirror, I see God
You
because
see
that
your,
was a
yes.
question. If you look in the mirror and you don't see God, you have to keep looking because I would have never even thought that, and that God is mother, father, God. Like it is not this male deity that we have been taught. And I'm going to tell you, having been programmed in that way, it only suppresses the feminine. It only suppresses women. We should feel like we're not even a part of this entire operation that consciousness put in place. That's kind of what it says when you just say God is a man and like we don't exist. That is
And
so
if you're going
untrue.
to assign gender to the all, to the creator, these are aspects of itself. Then if
Yes.
you're going to assign that, then the last thing God could be, if God were a person, would be a man, because mother's birth. And so let's just
Yes.
go from that perspective. I learned Mother, Father, God. I learned to pray like that. That was a shock to me when I heard a minister say that. I was freaked
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
but that's true. That's the wholeness of the allness of it. But if it were to be like, anthropomorphized into a being, it certainly
Hmm.
wouldn't be a man,
Right.
because the men cannot give birth, although, well, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes,
Yeah,
you're
that's very
definitely.
true. Well, I have some questions here. Will you explain to everyone what is a shaman and how do you actually become a shaman? Do you study? Is it, I know Shaman Durek is a sixth generational shaman. So sometimes it's like, I guess that's what your legacy is going to be. But
Well, hmm well, there. First of all, a shaman is like a religious figure in that
mm,
it's like, if you were talking about a guru or a teacher, or these different categories. I try not so much to talk about the labels, because I have so many things, having walked on so many paths, been
okay.
so many things. You know, it's just distilled down into what I do. But I actually was trained that way, under a woman who was trained under the Peruvian Incan shamanic tradition.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I don't exclusively wear that, but I use those things in my work. So, a shaman is just like a healer, a teacher. Like I say, since I don't really just focus on that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm using that as part of my toolbox, then I don't just say that that's what I am. But
Mm-hmm.
that's really the basics of what a shaman is. It's just a spiritual figure
Okay.
who has certain knowledge, can be indigenous knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and helps to mediate between this world and the spirit world, and just different things
Well,
that
when
they
did you
do. And
notice that? I'm
there are
sorry.
different kinds of shamans, because I think most of the time people think of shamans, they don't think of Shaman Durek, who's a spirit shaman. I'm more
Yes.
like a spirit shaman and an energy shaman, but
Yeah.
there are plant shamans. That's what most people think of. You go to the Amazon, you take ayahuasca, and you have an
Uh-huh.
amazing thing. That's a different
Yes.
kind of shaman. So there are different kinds, just like we say there are different kinds of healers. There are different kinds of shamans. So I'm an energy shaman, or a spiritual shaman. So yes, just wanted to
Well,
clear that up.
when I live in Panama as well, and when I was there, I met, I guess maybe she could be a plant shaman or earth shaman, but she was a healer for the people there in the villages, and they come to her. And I had this mass on my head. It was really big, but it's gone down so much. She made a poultice. She goes out into the forest, and the spirits tell her which medicine to come back, and she brew. I mean, this she does this every day. She and her husband. So yeah, yeah, I really got some healing from her. I didn't go with any expectations or any doubts when my friend said, it's a medicine woman. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going.
Yes, they have them here too, where I am here in Ecuador. They have those shamans, and I have been to them when they take the spit on you, and they take the leaves, and that's a different kind. But
Mhm.
that's doing healing work. They're doing healing, cleansing the negativity off of you. I have a friend here who is a plant shaman, and she facilitates the San Pedro. Most people know about ayahuasca. Mother, that's grandmother. San
Yes.
Pedro is grandfather, and she has done that. She's tried to get me to do that. I'm not ready for the plant experience, but
I'm
I
coming
will. I
to
will
I'm
one day.
coming to Ecuador. Gaia
Come
Sacrata.
on.
Yes.
Ah, yes, yes,
Uh,
yes,
it's
yes.
calling me.
Come on. Come
Mhm.
on down. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I looked that up. Um, well, what role does meditation and spiritual practices play, like in your life as an energy practitioner? So, what do you do to protect yourself, to protect your own energy?
Oh, so many things. It's just like, it's almost like once you begin to do things, anything like when you meditate on a regular basis, I lost you. I don't see you. Where are you?
I was
Um,
highlighting you.
oh, okay. I'm like, what happened? I thought I got cut off.
You
So they're
are
just,
so cute.
oh, thank you, sweet. There's so many things to do. One of the things that, people ought to be doing, in my humble opinion, is regular salt baths, to
Mm,
clear the negativity, keeping your house clean via many, many ways. I mean,
mhm,
some people place, I mean, this is really just a question for itself. Some people go through their houses playing sound. Some people burn things like sage and frankincense and Palo Santo.
mhm,
I have this, can't think of, I've gone blank, an herb that comes from Senegal that I burn sometimes in my house, like the same thing, very beautiful,
mm,
powerful scent. And in some people put salt in there. It's just all kinds of ways to keep your house clean. You do the same with yourself. You learn to run your energy and ground into the earth. You
yeah,
learn to keep your aura fluffed out. You learn to align your chakras. There's just so many things that you do. You you follow through with only positive thoughts. It doesn't mean that you won't ever say something out of habit sometime. Oh, I don't know how to do that. There won't be something that happens, but you begin to pay attention so that you course correct, so that it becomes more automatic how you move through this world. And you then, not only are you, raising yourself, vibrationally and consciously, but then you are also being that light, or in another way that impacts the world around you. It's like maybe we can't individually impact. That's the idea. We think that, who am I just
yeah,
to do something? You're
mhm,
everything. What do you
mhm,
mean? To the degree that you are expanding and, expressing the light that you are, the love that you are, the divine that you are, is the degree that you are healing and changing and growing your world. And
mhm,
also, you are really responsible for your world. It doesn't really matter what Deb is doing as far as, me creating my world. I'm creating, because this is a whole nother conversation, Dr. Deb. You are the writer, director, producer, actor, star, and provide the casting for everything
I
that's
heard
going
you
on
say
in
that.
your
I wrote
life.
it all down. I wrote it all. I heard you say that somewhere else. I'm like, you are everything in this whole,
You are, it's all you. And it's
movie.
the illusion that we are all somehow, we are one, and that we are all created from,
Mhm,
this divine consciousness, and we're expressing. We don't know, though. We don't know our power. We don't know who we are. We don't know that we have the ability to create. And for
mhm,
some people, who are in the indoctrinated world of what I call organized religion, I don't know how people break away from that, because once you break away from that, we are so well
pro
brainwashed into it.
yeah,
You think that what I'm saying right
yeah,
now is
it's programming.
diabolical, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just, I just, I knew at an early age that who is this man sitting up here in the minister? He was very nice, but
Mhm.
how do I know that he knows? Just because he got the robe and the big book and he's telling us what's in the book. I used to look at him when I was 10 years old. I looked at him, he was suspect. I'm like, how do I know he knows? Am I supposed to put my trust in this man? What if I know
Yeah.
more than him? I had these thoughts. So I
Were
was
you
never
raised in a
satisfied.
Christian environment or a
Well,
traditional
yes.
religious environment? Okay.
Yes, my mother was a Southern Baptist. My father
Mhm,
was Episcopalian, which is
mhm.
something like Catholicism, but different. It's
Yeah.
what comes from the Anglican Church in England. It's that,
Mhm.
difference.
Yeah.
And so I would go to church with him sometime, and I would be in the mass, the masses with the Catholic book, the missal, and all that, and all of that. And then I would go to church with my mother, and then be hooping and hollering, and all of that, and the Holy
Oh, it was
Ghost and
2
all of
different
that.
churches, huh? You guys,
Yes, yes.
wow, how
My mother said,
confusing.
well, it was just interesting to me. I don't think I was confused. I was just like, huh. And then I'd go to church with my friends sometime, and they really be the evangelical types, the holy rollers, and they'd be running up and down the church, and that would freak
Yeah,
me out. It's
I've
like,
been to
what's
church
wrong with
like
them?
that. Yeah, 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 that's distracting to me.
Yeah.
It
But
was a
anyway,
distraction.
I
But
forgot your original question, but
no. I just wanted to know that did you start off in the church? So when did you say, okay, this is not what's resonating with my spirit and my soul, and you went off, on your own journey to start, of course, discovering what your soul is here for. So when did
I
when did that happen?
I think it was always happening because I was just, always looking. I was blessed that I had a mother who was not harsh. She just said we had to go to church. We could go either with her or with daddy. We had to go to church at least until we were 18, and then we could decide to go or not go. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was just to get some basic values. I think
Mm,
this was her
mm,
concern. I mean, I couldn't know exactly, but by the time I was a teenager, I was looking around saying, this don't make no sense.
mm.
What kind of thing? And then I thought for a minute I was
It's
agnostic.
not adding up.
Yeah, it's like nobody was
Yeah.
giving me the answers,
Yeah.
and so it was just kind of like, I would be asking, and I was, like I said, I looked at that minister when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And even though I got baptized later, because I thought, well, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do, I'm just not whatever. I looked at him and I thought, how do I know you know? I'm supposed to take all my store by you and what you're telling
Mhm,
me because you're, speaking for God.
mhm,
And by the time I was a teenager, or late teens, I thought I was agnostic.
mm.
And I just went about my business. I never didn't believe there wasn't a God. I just wasn't sure what it was. I
Yeah,
just didn't, they were just, the stories were not working. And then
yeah.
by the time, fast forward, I can't really tell you between my undergraduate and graduate school days, I can't really tell you in my mind what I was doing with that. But by the time I got to graduate school, that was the first time I was introduced to unity.
Oh,
And
yeah.
before that, prior to that, one of my very good friends, her name is Cherry Muhanji, Dr. Cherry Muhanji. Her
Mhm.
son is Quan Cherry, an astrologer who, if you've been to my channel, you've seen him.
I did see him. Mhm,
Well, she was at the time a Jehovah's Witness.
mm,
So my last journey in Christendom was to study the scriptures with Jehovah's Witnesses. So I learned the Bible. So, and I see, I have my thoughts about the Bible and what it is and all that, but there's some good things there
mhm,
and some helpful or useful things, I would say. And so I was going along with it because she was such a good Bible teacher. I was going along with it. And then one day I reached the point where I said, no, this isn't it either. And that
mm,
was my last, like, kind of organized thing. And then I went into graduate school and I was introduced to New Thought, unity first, and then the science of mind, which is really the root of me, the science
mhm.
of mind. And in that tradition, I became a prayer practitioner. And we
Mm.
don't pray like, oh God, please, please, I
Yeah,
need this
please do
job,
it for me.
please.
Yes. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
do
no,
we do that.
we pray
We
affirmatively.
bargaining. We
Yeah,
bargain with God.
we don't bargain because you don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to.
And this is the blessings in the scriptures to tell you it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So why would you have to beg?
Yeah,
And
but
then
listen,
people,
but let's talk about that because the thought, and not even just the thought, but the teaching that came behind those scriptures is that the Father does take pleasure in giving you the Father does take pleasure in giving you the good kingdom or the kingdom, but it's not here. It is a kingdom we were taught that we had to like get to. And we only could get to that kingdom through death.
oh
That
yeah,
is just not true.
it's not.
It is absolutely just not true. And if anyone is still saying that, and listen, I did not really question too much, I accepted it was a part of the way I was conditioned and groomed and programmed, domesticated, whatever you want to say.
Mhm.
It was a part of my experience. And there are many wonderful things that I learned in church, but it just did not settle with me. It didn't add up. I always felt judged. I felt like I wasn't going to measure up. I didn't feel like I was going to get to the kingdom because I was still doing things that I wasn't supposed to do to get to the kingdom. So to me, I was just like, okay, so all of this is like really bullshit, actually. So I'm not gonna get there. So I should just do what I want to do anyway. I mean, all of these
Mm,
it produces internal conflicts. It really does.
yes.
It did for me, and I know I am not the only one out here. Like, what
No,
in
but
the world?
you have to reach that point when you realize, like you say, I've got to break out of this. Everything here is a system. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes,
Everything here is systematized and you are indoctrinated
yes.
in every area to believe in government, to believe in religion, to believe in the way the systems are set up here. That's
Everything
all a whole
outside
nother
of
thing.
yourself.
And part of keeping you in check is the biggest thing that keeps you in check is organized religion.
Yeah.
So they tell you, if you don't behave, you want to go to that big daddy in the sky, you better do these things. And it's not that those things aren't good things, but being an expression of the all that is, of that which we call God, means that, God is the last person to judge you. If anything, you judge you,
We're
you
judging
know?
ourselves. I know. Yes, yes,
God
it's
doesn't
us.
judge you. Oh my God. You shouldn't go on your deathbed feeling like, oh God, I might go to hell. I did so much bad stuff. No, it isn't you going back to God. But the thing of it is, you are the one that has to wrestle because you never wrestled your whole life with the inside of you. And that's what you have to do. And when you start asking those questions, like my sister, whom I love deeply, she's my only surviving sister or sibling right now, is very much in that established Christian tradition. So I can, we love each other, but it's like she can't. I'm doing tarot cards. No, get thee behind me. That's her whole kind of, you, yeah, she won't even listen. If I said something about her and her partner being this sign and this sign, yeah, I don't know nothing about that. Oh, okay, Lisa. Oh, all right, that's okay. You don't have to. And
Yeah.
I don't bother people about whatever it is. I said I think sometimes
No, we
you need
can't.
whatever you can get to at least have a semblance of connection with God, because God is good, God is love. And so you have to connect somehow, even if that connection is one in which you are the lowly worm of the earth. It's better than no connection, in my humble
But we are
opinion.
all connected. We cannot not be.
Hmm.
It's no way that we can be unconnected. And I think about what I needed, and I probably would have been, not like doing this to you because I would have felt like I was judging you, but I would have been like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with that. So everybody is right where they're supposed to be.
Yes, I
That's
agree with
just
that.
on our journey, on our way home, we're all where we're supposed to be. And we were just
Absolutely.
talking about that. Yeah, it's no way, there is no mistake in creation. And creation is happening all the time. It doesn't stop. So everything around you, God is always around you. That consciousness, mother, father, God is always around you. I like to say source. Um
People
and
can
it's
say,
always creating all the time. So
yeah.
it's okay that people are where they are. I am learning to accept, people not remembering, because it's just that we don't remember. We chose to come here, and a part of this deal is that we have spiritual amnesia, because
Absolutely.
that's a part of the deal. I didn't create this deal. It's just, this is God consciousness thing. So, but we have that spiritual amnesia or spiritual Alzheimer's. We do.
That's
But
good.
what we're doing, and what is really become really exciting for me, is that I am remembering, I am discovering who I really am, and it is enlightening. My load has been lessened. I feel so
Mm,
free. That's the reason why
mm.
I created Fear to Freedom, because I totally lived in fear. I mean, people would not have known, but I mean, I had so many internal conflicts, and this is a whole nother podcast, that all I thought about was suicide. I did not want
Oh,
to be here. I did not,
oh,
from
you
a very
definitely have
early
to tell
age.
your story when you do that the podcast you were talking about.
Mhm.
I think you have to talk about those things, because right now, you know, you're just being the light and the beauty and the spark of, like, I feel so, when I feel your energy, I feel so happy,
Oh, good.
because you have that hunger, you have that desire, you are emitting all that love and beauty. It's just coming all out of you. I mean, it just delights me. I feel like,
Mhm.
I'm your senior, but I feel like you are my
Yes.
child. And,
Yes, yes, I feel like that too. I do, and I really appreciate that energy that you give off. I mean, you from the start, but I am excited, Miss Althea, because yeah, I did not. I it's just always been very dense with me and kind of on the surface, just kind of living through life. I mean, I'm like, well, what else is there? I don't know what else to do. I mean, either I'm going to commit suicide or not, you know,
Mm,
and I haven't, but I did not enjoy life. I did not enjoy life. I didn't, but I do
I,
now.
I know, and it's all over you. And
I
maybe
do
you
now.
come on my channel and talk about that because, that's the story about people in their healing journeys and how you made a different decision. Because I have a sister that died by suicide, so I actually understand. When you say that,
Wow.
I'm just like, you saved your own life. So, I want to hear more about that. But maybe that you come over to my house and
Oh
and
gosh,
and,
it's
and
such
do
a
it.
I don't even know if I can
Yes, you
keep
can.
a wet, dry eye. Jeez, it's so I'm not embarrassed, but it has happened for a long
No.
time. I just stopped
No,
recently.
this is absolutely what people need. They need to know, how did you do it? They need to know that you did it. They need to know that, there was somebody that felt as, remember that scene in The Color Purple? Oh, I was feeling mighty bad. I was feeling mighty low. Then I
Yes, that
see
was
through.
me.
And I know things of God.
You are
It's
so
Sophia.
cute. Yes,
Well, honey,
yes.
I'm a subject to break into movie lines or songs at any moment. So that's
That
my
is how my Shannon is, the love of my life. He uses a movie or song or anything. It's so cool. Um, yes, yes, that's exactly how I feel. And you know what? This is probably, I know you're gonna say that's another episode, but also hearing I started opening myself up. I'm practicing more to be in touch with my higher self. So I heard my ancestors, they came through one time. I mean, they come through all the
wow.
time now, but there was one specific time that a lot of them came through. I felt the presence of many of them. It was not one. And they told me, among other things, but they told me that they're glad that I did not give up, that I did not commit suicide because you do not cease to exist, they said. You will have to repeat what you didn't
Yes,
learn, but
yes,
you don't you can't give up, basically. And that's really the message, that I felt inspired to do some work, I don't know, with people who think that suicide would be the answer, because once you even get out of your body, you realize that you're still who you are and your personality is there. You're just out of the body. And so
yes. Wherever
that
you go, you take yourself with you.
yes, you
That's
can't even commit suicide. That's the thing. Like you can't run away from yourself. You cannot run away from the spirit. You can't trick it. It is all designed this way. And oh my gosh, yes. So that is a very sensitive subject. And we're not even supposed to be talking about me. Hold on. Okay, so
well, let me just say hi. I see Crystal Gypsy in the chat, and Omo is there.
hey
Welcome, beautiful
y'all.
beings.
Oh, welcome. I'm glad you all are watching.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Can you see the comment?
I cannot see the
Click
comments.
on the
Oh,
side.
yes,
Click on.
I see the
There you
comments over
go.
here. Hold on.
That way you
Oh,
keep
hey,
up.
Grand Rising, Crystal Gypsy. Yes. Omo, great morning. Mm-mm. Love you. Yes. I am so glad that you
Oh,
are
Dr.
watching.
Deb, you are a delight. You are a delight to me. I just,
Really, I
oh,
am so glad they are watching. That's so sweet. And I'm just glad that you are here today. You give me so much energy. I want to know what it is like. What's your experience like as a medium? And Miss Althea, I'm asking you this question because I used to think that it you had to have a gift to, people would be able to connect with the other side. I've heard that in my, even, my sibling is that way, but I thought, oh, it's because she's special, because it's not. No, no, we're all connected to the spirit.
Right.
And otherwise, my ancestors, I wouldn't have been able to hear what they were saying. So, what's it like to be like a medium to help other people? What's
Well, Um, I would say this, we all have access to it, as you rightly say, but you also have to know that maybe your sister, I think you said your sister is a little more tuned in, or there's less filters or whatever between her. But it's important to understand also, when you do any kind of that kind of work, channelings, all of this, that you have established who you are in your being, that you have the proper boundaries, and that you also, you know, you call when that's permissible to
Mm,
you. But I'll give you an experience. I was told a long time ago that I had no idea what does that mean. I in my young years, I was kind of like, that sounds spooky. I remember the Ouija board and all that and all that,
yes, yes.
But one day, where I am here, my teacher, who was my the shaman teacher I told you about, we went out to a restaurant here, and a guy walked in that she kind of liked, and we knew, and he sat down at the table with us. And I don't know, all of a sudden I started telling him things about his wife, who passed away.
Mm,
And it was funny because I could feel and hear what she was saying. My teacher, who's clairvoyant, she could see. I couldn't see anything. I could
mm,
just feel, and I was just speaking what I was feeling to him. And she was saying, "Don't you see her? She's right over there." I said, "I don't see anything." I said, "But
wow.
I had to tell him, so it's like you feel the pressure to do it." And like when I say you establish the boundaries, that means you don't allow anything into your field or anything like that. You don't accept it just because it wants to come in and talk to you.
Mm,
You have established your level of higher consciousness, so the lower things can't really get in. And that you also say it's okay or it's not okay. That's kind of a further discussion when it is like that. But it's like, it's nothing weird to me. It just feels like I have to say this. That's how it comes
mm,
through to me, you
mm.
know, and I feel the pressure to like emphasize it.
Well,
you know,
that's
that's
just
the
so
medium part.
interesting. This is funny because I would probably be the least likely person, that I was just a rule follower. So I would be the least likely person to be doing tarot or oracle cards, or even listening to like hearing a voice or being connected. Like all of that was really spooky, just kind of like something that I wouldn't even um access. But I access that. And one day, after my episode here, and
Hmm.
we ended the stream, and
Hmm.
then my girlfriend who I interviewed, her dad came to me. I could hear him here, and I was like, he was showing me a picture in my head. I wouldn't get this picture. I was like, there's a picture in my head of a man that's holding a little baby. And so my girlfriend, she starts looking for her pictures, and she puts the pictures up, and it was the one. I said, Your dad is here. He's here. He's,
Yes, they're not gone. They're just, it's like they're on the other side of a
yeah,
door.
but he was in my ear. Now,
Yeah,
I'm just talking about like,
that's because you were listening.
yes, because she's so
She wasn't.
sweet, and she is my sister friend. And when her father made his transition, I know what it felt like. She was a daddy's girl, and so was I. My father transitioned first. So she just, after the show, she just was just missing him. And I don't know, he just got up in my ear. That was just so sweet. I was glad that he did get in my ear because it helped her, but he actually was asking me questions too. So I was like, woo, that was funny. Like, I have never really had those types
Well,
of
just
experiences.
get ready because you're on the journey. So,
Yes, and I'll be so happy to talk to. I love talking to my ancestors because they have so much joy and non-judgment. And my angel and spirit guides, I just learned of one's name because I asked and I heard it, and I
there
was like, I'm
you go.
trusting myself.
That's
So
good. You're
yeah,
way ahead of a whole lot of people. That whole trusting the self thing, that can be a real challenge, especially for
Yeah.
the I grew up following the rules. I grew up as a good girl. You don't
Yeah.
do anything that would not be a good girl would do, right?
Or at least you
You
don't
just
let anybody know that, you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
I did my
I
stuff.
just was. I don't want to fall out of favor with my mother. I don't want to fall out of favor with God, you know.
Yeah.
So you go you be a good girl. You don't do the
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
things, you know?
yeah, you don't let anybody see. Yeah, well, I am getting ready because this is very interesting. It's like a new world for me. Like this awakening is just like, oh my God, like I see the world so differently. And
Mhm.
because I have a girlfriend, that really makes it really special too. She is a channel and she brought my dad through 3 years ago. That's what all of this, like, what? Like, wait a minute. And because my mother, she's so sweet, she introduced me to Unity Church, Deepak Chopra.
Ooh.
She introduced me to A Course in Miracles when I was in my 20s.
Ooh, you
Right.
see
So
that's a you were a step ahead already. Your mother did, you
she did,
know?
she introduced me, but it wasn't cultivated. So I yeah, it was not cultivated, but when this thing happened now, it was like, "Oh my gosh, it makes sense." You know, I had a baseline understanding and it all just made so much sense. So, yeah, you could say I'm probably just like out there like,
I don't think that at all. I think you're delightful. I think you're gonna help so many people. I think you are, the more you understand and the more you grow, the more, you're going to see how your gifts expand into the actual work that you do in the world,
yeah.
as Dr. Deb. You're going to see, I can already just see it. I can just see it. That's part of my
Oh,
gift. So, yeah, I'm just delighted. I just want to keep going. Just keep
yeah.
going.
Miss out there, you know what? We just like we're running out of time
I
actually.
know.
And
Well,
but
there is no
you
such thing. But
no,
anyway, I
you're
get
right.
you.
You're right. There's no such thing as time. No such thing as like we're running out of time. You're right. But I want you to know that you are welcome back here. I want to have more conversations with you. You have so much wisdom, and I love you. I really appreciate your heart for me because I can actually feel it. And yeah, I want you to know that. Thank you so much. You are like you really, really have an honest, genuine appreciation and excitement for me because I
I
feel it.
do. I do.
I
And
know.
I'm not phony about it. I'm
I
nice to people.
know.
I'm nice to everyone unless you're an asshole and then that'd be something else. I just try to like you just stay over there. But what I feel and to the degree that I feel it greatly, it just you can feel it more. So
I'm
I'm
so glad.
glad you can feel it. I think,
Yeah, I
because
do.
it's for real. It's for real. For real,
But
for
listen,
real.
people, because we are live and also I am just in
Her
my
first
element
time
here.
going live.
Yes, this is. And but this is Miss Althea Grace, also known as the Soul Whisperer, and you can also access her services here at yoursoulwhisperer.com. And also she has a YouTube channel. Please follow her YouTube. It is amazing. She has amazing insights. And either you're ready for this or you're not ready for this. But if you're just like inquisitive, keep following all of us. I even went to some of your featured podcast so I can see,
Oh, some of my guests. So,
yes,
like I
some of
just
the
told
guests,
you,
oh my gosh, they were
talk to
talking. uh,
Tracy Cherry, the astrologer. Talk to actually my best friend, Jasmine Love. She's traveling now. She's an amazing being. Talk to Queen Coy. I think you have
yeah, I'm gonna
seen
talk to
her.
Joy. Yes,
Talk to
yes,
my friend Jennifer, who's creating the off grid community in Belize. I
yes, I
think you should
saw
reach out to
her.
her. I mean, I know a lot of really talk to my friend Lady Virgo, as I was telling
I
you.
saw Lady Virgo. I'm a Virgo. Mhm.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's
She
what
was
another
talking
reason.
some stuff over my head, but you know what? She just looked like a sister. She keeps it 100. But I was like,
Well,
what?
she's an astrologer too, so
Yes,
that
the
may be why she's
astrology.
talking that astrology. But she really has gone through something like when you talk about, making a
Mhm.
choice to live.
Yes.
She can talk about healing experience in her life, going through what she's just gone through
Mhm.
in a marriage where she discovered so many things that threw her whole world upside down. So just things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I like to promote people because, you know, that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what
Yeah,
we're
me
supposed
too.
to
I mean,
do.
we're just all walking each other home. That's how I feel. Like we're
Yeah.
all in this together. So why not just it's like you're promoting God. That's how I look at it.
Woo! I
You're
love
God,
that.
you're
I
just
love
promoting
that.
God.
I'm promoting God. You got
Yeah.
that right. You got
Yeah.
that right on
That's
multiple
how I
levels.
see it. Well, I like to just before you leave, I like to ask all of my guests, what are you most excited about in life right now, Miss Althea?
That's a really good question. And she wanted to highlight me. Okay. Um, I'm most excited right now at what I know is coming in my tomorrow, in our tomorrow, should we choose to create it collectively. And in many ways, that's where my dreams are that we will create it collectively. When I say I'm excited about that tomorrow, that is a life that we humans create as we take back our power from all the brainwashing, all the inculcation, all the indoctrination that we have gotten here living on planet Earth, on this beautiful mother, but having something covered over it, which has all been about manipulation and lies and things to keep us, so to speak, in line. That there are forces and powers that are part of God, but have forgotten that, who are out there doing the most to keep human beings in check for their own purposes. Most of us don't know that because we come here, we fall into whatever our family brings us. And so we end up in a world where there's, horrible corruption, when there are hungry people, when there are people who cannot get treated for illnesses because they don't have the money or the funds for it. We come into a world where what we know has been gifted to us, healing gifts, the way we look at the earth, the way we look at the food, all of that has been, you know, um, we've been discouraged from understanding more about ourselves as spiritual beings and fleshly embodiments being here. But the time for these demons, as I call them, they're the psychopaths who are, way at the top levels and you don't see them, but everything has an institution point. And their time is up. They don't want to go. And they will take some beings with them who refuse to believe that there are those manipulations, that we have been, put in the trick bag, as my daddy would say. And so for me, it's about me just knowing, okay, I'm watching all the shenanigans going on out there, but I know that it doesn't stop there. I don't have an emotional investment. When I need to pray for people, I do that. When I need to send love, I do that. But my investment is not here. My investment is seeing to the new world that is coming, where, is to quote Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, a world that works for everyone. And that is not a Pollyanna dream. That is not a pie in the sky way of looking at it. That is a reality and an understanding to the degree that you know who you are as a spiritual being in a human experience. We're going to do that. We're doing the most to create that. So, what I'm most excited about is that new day. It's on the other side of this moment that looks like a potential war coming, that looks like a crazy election coming or not coming, because it depends on what you say, a money system crashing, all of these things, another bit of force, stay home and take this because some disease is going to get you and kill you, all of that. On the other side of it, a new day. And we're in process right now for that new day. And that I am hella excited about. So there you go.
Oh my gosh. I was like, woo, I'm excited with you. Yes,
Yes,
I
girl.
am. I
We're
am excited
going.
because I believe in a world like that. I know it may sound, like Pollyanna to some people, but I believe that we shouldn't have to go out of our body to feel some exuberant love and freedom
Yes.
and
Somebody
liberation and
made us
connection.
think things like, I believe the children are the future. Remember that song? Or anything with those sentiments, they come from beauty. Those
Yeah.
things come from God, those ideas. But somebody has made us believe, you're just in fantasy land. That's the world we're in, and we're breaking out.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah. Coming
coming
out.
out.
I
See, I
want
told
the
you it's some
world
music.
to know. Gotta
Yep.
It show.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm
Coming
most
out.
excited about. This going on. It's like, oh, I can't see another. The people were being killed over there in Bangladesh by the
Mhm.
government, the psychopathic
Yes.
government they had, and
Yes.
she had to flee the country. Just all these things going on. So if you play, too much attention, you will get embroiled and keep perpetuating. So you have to find and learn a way to send the love, because what else can you do?
Yeah.
It's not ready for me to jump up and down and hoop and holler because
Yeah.
that's not going to change it. So I do God. I be
Mhm.
God. I see that situation as it is so it can self correct,
Mhm.
and there'll be people out there who want to protest and do all, and that's very fine. We all have to do
Mhm.
all of that.
Mhm.
But the more crazy that's out there in front of you, and it's all coming up and out now because it must be exposed. That's the whole thing about this moment in time
Hey,
that we're
loving
in.
me, loving you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
Hi.
see these are your friends, and I am happy that they are watching. Loving me, loving you. She
Well,
says,
I
"How
know
much
we're I know we're
later?"
on our way out here. So let me just stop. Let me just stop. That's what I'm most excited about. I didn't mean to
No,
wind up and get going again.
no, it's okay, Miss Althea. If I didn't have to go to yoga, we'd be sitting right here. But I live for yoga. I
Oh,
do it three
girl.
days a week.
Is that hatha yoga or what kind of yoga?
No, just yin and
Kundalini?
yang yoga, yoga for mobility,
Oh,
um
I need
power
that.
yoga. Yeah, I just do it. It has saved my life. Breathing and yoga, the practices that I've had to, because it's just a lot of trauma and a lot of experiences that I have to release, and that I have been. So yeah. Well, I like to thank you, whoever is watching. If this is your first time, welcome to the Fear to Freedom Project. Like and subscribe, comment. Thank you for watching. And also, if you are a returning champion, thank you so much. I love you.
Returning
Peace to
champion.
you. Miss Althea, I really honor you. Thank you so much for coming
I honor
and
you.
just pouring into me. And this is not the last time you're going to see us together. It's just not. I
You
really,
coming to my house.
yes,
We're
I'm
gonna
going to
talk
come
about
to
it.
your house. I am. All right. Well, I love you,
I
everyone.
love
Peace
you too.
and love. Thank you so much. And we are out.